Hello and welcome back to the 12 Days of Christmas. Today I'm going to try a 24-hour reading video. I've done this before. In fact, today I just posted my 24-hour reading video. I am so excited for this. I did this before but then was interrupted, and today I think I'm going to be able to do it and actually make it to tomorrow without stopping. I've been watching a lot of other 24-hour videos. I just love watching those while I read books. A lot of YouTubers actually do like the stopwatch of 24 hours, and even whenever they come to talk to the camera, they never stop the timer. So I'm gonna try it that way and see if that helps. And also, it is currently 5:08. And so I think also starting in the evening will help maybe. My husband works night shift, so he just left for work. He left early today. And so I have the whole night to myself and kind of morning as well. So I'm going to get as much reading as I can done. And I'm just going to try to stay up for 24 hours and read the whole time. So I'm going to go collect some books and see what I have to work with. So I just grabbed some of the books that I had laying around the house. I don't think this will be fully Christmas books, but there will be a few Christmas books. But the first book I have is this book. It's called Once Upon a Christmas, and I don't know anything about it. I got this one from Goodwill whenever I got The Christmas Promise, I think. That is the only physical Christmas book that I have. I don't normally buy books for myself because I go to the library or I borrow stuff on my library's ebook, so I never actually end up buying physical books for myself. I also read other things that are not Christmas related, probably. I have this book, Pride and Prejudice. I've never read this before. Whenever I read other books, they'll talk about this book or the movie, and so I started reading it, like in November, I believe, and then I started reading Christmas books, and so I just kind of stopped reading it. So I'm on page 56. Like, I didn't get really far into it at all, so I'm thinking about picking this up again. If I do, I'll probably just restart it because I don't remember anything about it, and I didn't even get that far into it anyway. But this is another option that I have to read. Next two books that I have are For a Lifetime and Across the Ages. These are both Gabrielle Meyer's books, and I love this timeless series so much. I've read all of them that she has so far, but I'm rereading them, and so I already reread the first and the second one, and I'm currently in the middle of this one. I've been reading it on my Kindle app though, so I got past chapter 20, but I'm not exactly sure what page or what chapter I'm in. But yes, so I have this book to read. I'll probably end up reading this, I'm sure, at some point of the video, and then after that I can also read the fourth book. This one is so good. I mean, all of them are good, but this one is really good, and I'm so excited to read it again, and we'll see if I end up doing that in this video or not. And the last physical book that I have is this book by Karen Kingsbury, Unlocked. I read this before when I was younger, like a teenager, and it was like my favorite book for the longest time. And so I'm curious to read it again and see what I think of it. And I actually borrowed this one from my pastor's wife, so I really do need to read this so I can return it to her. So we'll see if I end up reading that in this video or not. So those are the 5 physical copy books that I have to read. I'm not sure if I'll get into all of them or not. I'm just going to see what happens as I go throughout this night and tomorrow. I downloaded A Sweet Haven Christmas. This is a book that a series that I started in the summertime, and it was like A Sweet Haven Summer. And then they had one that was for autumn, and now I want to read the Christmas one, so I'm sure I'll end up reading this one in the series. I don't care for the series that much, honestly, but I'm somebody that once you start it, I have to know how it ends. And then I also have Kindle Unlimited. My husband has it technically because I wanted to use the free trial with his account, and then I just ended up renewing it with his account instead of my account. I know I'm currently reading How My Neighbor Stole Christmas on Kindle Unlimited, and I just keep picking it up and then putting it back down again because it's very inappropriate. And then also there's a book that's on Kindle Unlimited. I don't remember the name of it or anything, but I saw it while I was on Instagram watching Reels, and it said something about a homeschool girl. I don't know. I was homeschooled growing up from 7th grade till I graduated. I was homeschooled, and so I think it would be really cute to see like a homeschool group, and I think maybe a youth group, like a church youth group, and it's a Christmas book. But anyway, it's on Kindle Unlimited. But the only thing with Kindle Unlimited is I have been reading it on my laptop. And so, I don't know, that might be a little bit weird. Those are some of the books that I have. I'm just going to go ahead and get into this video because I've already talked for a long time. It's now 5:22. Now it's 5:23 actually. So I've already talked for a long time, so I'm going to go ahead and start this video and start reading. That way my end time is not too far into the future. I did actually want to say one more thing. So it's really funny because the last time I did a 24-hour challenge, I had just came home from my family and I left my tripod, and then I did the 24-hour video. And that same exact thing happened again. Just yesterday I came back from my parents' house and I realized that I left my tripod there again. And I didn't even film anything there. So why do I keep taking my tripod? Well, I did film something last time whenever I left it, but I didn't film anything this time, so I took it and left it. So these angles might not be the best, but I'm going to try my best to make it as good as I can. Anyway, I'm going to go to the living room and I'm going to start reading because I've been talking way too much. I have my Christmas tree lights on over there, so I'm thinking of doing this Christmas book. I kind of feel like reading something Christmassy by the Christmas tree. It is currently 5:28. I'm going to wait until 5:30 and I'm going to start my timer. Let me see, has been an hour and a half of reading, and I did not realize that this book is 2 books in one. I just finished the first book, The Most Wonderful Time of the Year. I'm going to go ahead and finish this book. I'll check back in whenever I'm finished. Hello, I have been reading this book here. We are past the 2-hour mark, 2 hours and 17 minutes. It's not even 8 o'clock and I am getting so tired. I might just try to read this book now that I'm in my bedroom. Maybe a change of scenery will help. To be honest, I'm not super enjoying it. I don't care for the writing that much and the stories aren't that interesting to me, but I am going to go ahead and try to finish it so that I can move on to something else. That's basically the update. I am starting to feel tired and it's a little bit too early for that, so I need to wake myself up. I just finished that little tiny book. It is now 9 o'clock. I feel like this is going to be a really long night. I don't know what book I want to read next. I don't know if I want to try to read another Christmas book or something else. I'm thinking I want to read on my phone actually, because I don't think I want to read on my laptop anymore. This book is on Prime Reading, so I think I'm going to give this book a try. I thought it was time for a little update. I just changed in my pajamas and brushed my teeth. Got ready for bed, even though I'm not going to bed. It is officially 10 o'clock. We're 4 hours and 38 minutes into the challenge. I think it'll really get hard past midnight because that's what time I went to bed last night. Anyway, I'm reading this book. I've never heard of it before. I just saw it on Prime and it is really good so far. I'm really enjoying it. I'm on chapter 19. How you fit 32 chapters into a short 126 page book, I have no idea, but I've been enjoying it. I can't wait to read more of it. So anyway, I better get back to reading and I'll update you again probably when I finish this book. I just finished that book and I'm giving it 4 stars. I really enjoyed that. I'm going to save all the reviews for the end of the video. Now I'm going to read A Sweet Haven Christmas. This is part of a series. There was Sweet Haven Summer, I think, and then there was an autumn version of it, and now it's finally time for me to read the Christmas one. I changed scenery to see if that helps wake me up because it did last time, but I don't know if laying in bed will actually make it worse and make me more tired. I'm reading The Sweet Haven Christmas and it is really good so far. It's actually starting to be my favorite so far. Like, I'm actually really enjoying it. Unlike the other ones where I forced myself to read them because I started it, so I had to finish it. But anyway, I'm on chapter 11 and I'm going to continue reading and I'll update you guys again in a little bit. Somehow, we have made it to the 7-hour mark and I am exhausted. I'm awake. I haven't actually fallen asleep yet. So I think I'm going to try to put on a movie and see if that helps. I haven't been meaning to update you every single hour, but it's just worked out that way. So maybe this time I'll wait to update you after the whole movie. I fell asleep for a little bit, and I guess I fell asleep while the movie was on because I woke up and it was like 3:50 something. I feel so tired. I am reading again. I've been reading for whatever amount of time. I'm still reading The Sweet Haven Christmas. I think I'm almost halfway. I'm at 52%. I'm going to go ahead and read some more. Hopefully my husband gets off work soon so he can give me some coffee because I'm struggling over here. Good morning. I did end up falling asleep a little bit last night. I fell asleep I think around right after 12:30. That one was an accident because all of a sudden I woke up at, I can't remember what time it is. Oh yeah, it was almost 4 a.m. whenever I woke up and was like, oops, I fell asleep. And then I was up again for an hour. My husband came home right around 5 a.m. I want to say, and he did not bring me coffee. Sad, but it was okay. I was able to read again for another hour, and then around 6 a.m. I stopped the timer and decided to go to sleep. And so I did stop the timer for that just because I just thought that it would be better. I don't know. That way I can get in the full 24 hours of reading. I just finished A Sweet Haven Christmas and it was really cute. I really liked it. And so I think I'm going to move on from Christmas books. Right now, I'm in the mood to read Pride and Prejudice and try that again. I do just want to say that I did get ready for the day, but I did try to read the whole time whenever I did everything that I needed to do this morning. It wasn't easy, but I did the best I could because I do want this to be reading as much as possible. So I was reading Pride and Prejudice, and I just got super bored of reading this, so I think I'm going to go ahead and move on to something else. Now I'm going to start book 3 of the Timeless series, For a Lifetime. I've already been reading this, and I already have been enjoying this. I think with Pride and Prejudice, I would like to listen to an audiobook and read it at the same time, because like I start reading it and then my brain is just thinking about a million other things and not focused on the book at all. So I miss so much doing it that way. And so I think listening to it and reading it at the same time would be helpful for me. It's just a little too advanced for what I enjoy, I guess. I'm going to put this aside and probably pick it up later. I don't know if I'll pick it back up in this video or just at another time. But this is now the book that I'm reading. This book is crazy. I read it before, and yet I'm hanging on to every single word, wondering what's gonna happen. I know what's gonna happen, but like to read it all again, it's so captivating, and that's just how good this book is. I literally have read it before, and yet I'm holding on to every single word. I'm going to give a full review on everything at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. Don't worry, I did not fall asleep, even though it might look like I did. I did end up finishing that book. So good. Once again, I'm going to put all of the reviews for the end of the video. It's going really well so far. Going to sleep for a little bit really helped me. I don't know how people do 24 hours straight without ever sleeping. I am 42% into Merry Xmas, and to be honest, I feel like I am just reading just to read. I'm not retaining anything. I have no idea what's going on. I just wanted to give an update to tell you it is so weird doing this for a whole like 24 hours because I feel like I haven't done anything productive. My house is a mess. It needs cleaned. I have dishes that need done. I need to make food, and like I feel like I've neglected every responsibility that I need to do because I'm just sitting here and reading. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this book. It says I have an hour and 30 minutes left. We'll see how true that is. It is almost 3, so we'll see if I finish at 4:30 or if it's later than that. Or quicker than that. Maybe I read faster than what they think I'll read. It is later than I thought it would be. I was making such good time reading that book, but then I went to cook something and that took more time than I thought it would, and I wasn't like as focused into my reading when I was doing that. That is why I'm finishing so much later. I did end up finishing that book. It was just okay to me. I feel like I didn't even read it. I can't tell you a single thing about it. I'm going to go ahead and finish my dinner real quick. And so I'm going to try to find an audiobook to listen to that I can also do as an ebook. I can't believe we're almost done with this challenge. I am so exhausted, but I know that I just can't go to sleep yet. I still have 2 hours left, over 2 hours left. 24 hours doesn't seem like that much time until you're doing one thing the entire time, especially if that one thing is reading. I was able to get the dishes done and I did some cleaning, and I've been listening to this audiobook. This is a series, and I think I read the first and the second book. I think this is the 4th one, but if I remember correctly, I didn't care for it much, but I just wanted to listen to something Christmassy and not have to deal with any language or spice, and I know that this series was clean. I have an hour and a half to go, which is crazy, but I'm so excited. I just cannot wait for this to be over.
Saturday morning for a fitting. I'll be ready. And she would. She'd not let her sister down, hailed a cab. He had a plane to catch. Drove an hour up to St.
We officially hit 24 hours of reading. I'm so glad that I am finally done reading. I am so tired. If you can't tell by my face, I feel like I look so tired. It's 8:49. I think what I'm going to do is I'm working on a Christmas project right now for somebody. And so I think I'm going to do that a little bit more and maybe finish my book. I'm halfway through it. Just listening to the book instead of reading it with my eyes the last few hours or so has been very, very helpful for this challenge. And I would not have been able to complete it without that. I definitely would have probably fallen asleep again. I'll see you tomorrow to give you the reviews. Hello. It is a few days later and I thought I should finally do that review so I can finish that video and have it posted. I did not finish the book that I was listening to on audiobook. I don't know if I'll end up finishing that book or not. I feel like that happens a lot with me. I'll start an audiobook and then I never finish it because I just forget about them. Hopefully I remember all the books that I read. I do know that this was the very first book that I read, Once Upon a Christmas by Laureen Snelling and Lenora Worth. This was a 2-in-1 book, which I did not know going into it, and it is super cringy. I do not recommend it at all. I think I would give it 2 stars. It wasn't a DNF and it wasn't like horrible, but I don't know, it just wasn't enjoyable. I'm going to try to go through these reviews quickly because I don't want this video to be way too long, and I know whenever I get to that timeless book I'm going to want to talk a lot. So the next book that I read was The Christmas Book Hunt by Jenny Colgan. This is a book I've never heard about. I really enjoyed this book. I can't remember if it made me like laugh out loud or there was something about it that I just know that I enjoyed it. There were a few like mild cuss words in it, I believe. It's really cute. I liked it. It was very short. I just really enjoyed it. I would recommend it. I gave it 4 stars. I'd probably give it 4.5. It was really good. After that, I read A Sweet Haven Christmas by Courtney Walsh. And I've read a few books by this author and they are always hit and miss for me. It is a little bit of that cringier writing style. In my opinion, I don't care for it, but this book I loved so much. Like I said before, this is part of a series and I wanted to read the 3rd one for Christmas time. I didn't end up reading it for my last video where I did Christmas books. So this time I was like, I really want to read this book. I don't know what all I can say without giving spoilers for the first 2 books. It was super cute. I liked it a lot. I gave it 4 stars, I think. Don't remember talking about Christmas is for Suckers and reading it, but I'm pretty sure I read that before Sweet Haven Christmas because I remember talking to my husband on the phone and reading it. I tried reading How My Neighbor Stole Christmas, but I couldn't read it anymore, so I did Christmas is for Suckers, and it was super short. I ended up giving it 3 stars. I don't really think it had much of a plot to it. If so, I don't remember it. Okay, next, I believe I read the 3rd book in the Timeless series, For a Lifetime. I've already said this before, but this was my 2nd time reading this book, and I love that series so much. I feel like I'm struggling to give this review because I don't want to give any spoilers, and I think every single person should read the series. So I don't want to say anything in case someone is watching this video and for the first time hears about this series. I don't want to give too much away about what's going to happen in other books. It's so good. You have to just take my word for it and you have to go read the whole series. There's 4 books actually. They're all really good. She has her 5th book coming out in May of next year and I already pre-ordered for it. I'm so excited to read it, especially after reading the 4th book. Eventually, I want to do a whole video on the whole series, but the thing is I want that video to be for people who haven't read the series but should, but I don't know how to give that video without giving spoilers, so I'm still thinking about how I'm going to do that video. But it's definitely a video I am interested in doing in the future. But the next book that I read, Merry Xmas. This book I had heard about and seen, and I was super excited to get into it. I thought I would love this book. I ended up rating it 2 stars. I feel like that's a really harsh rating, especially since a lot of the circumstances are the reason why I didn't care for that book much. But that's just my honest rating. I don't know if it's because I had been reading for a bunch of hours by this point and I was super tired, so I was reading but I feel like I didn't retain anything about it. I hate giving reviews because I'm like, just because I love it doesn't mean you're going to love it, and just because I hate it doesn't mean you're gonna hate it. So it's hard giving reviews knowing that someone's going to watch it and based off of what I say they're going to want to read it or not want to read it. I say that all of that to say just because I don't like Merry Xmas doesn't mean that you won't like Merry Xmas. And finally, the book that I chose was Cruel Winter with You, and it's by Ali Hazelwood. I've heard of this author and I've always wanted to read one of her books. My sister reads Ali Hazelwood and she likes her a whole lot. When I was listening to it, I was getting into it and I liked it a lot. But as soon as I stopped doing what I was doing and I started reading it for myself on the ebook version, it all escaped my mind and I had no idea what I was reading. I ended up giving it 2 stars, but I just don't feel like that's a fair rating. So you're going to have to read it for yourself and let me know what you think of it. It did have some language in it, and also the last chapter is basically just a spice chapter. I did not read that part because I was like, oh, okay. So that kind of startled me. So then the final book that I listened to, I wish I would have just listened to this one instead of the Ali Hazelwood one, because then I think at the end of the challenge I would have finished right on time with the book instead of being now in the middle of this one and not knowing what to do about it. Will I finish it? Will I not? But to be honest, I do not care for it. I think I said this in the video, but I read 2 of the other books and I liked the first one, if I remember. And the second one, I don't even think I finished because I didn't like it. And then I never moved on to the third one. But I wanted to listen to a book that wasn't going to be throwing out cuss words at me. That is the reason why I picked that book to listen to. I might end up finishing it. I might not. If I do end up finishing it, I'll try to talk about it in a future video. Or it'll definitely be on my Goodreads. I have my Goodreads in every single video description. Right now, I think I only have 5 friends on Goodreads. I don't have a lot of friends who read. So if you read and you have Goodreads, then you can click on that and you can add me as a friend. I'll add whoever adds me. I just like to have other people on Goodreads. I get to see other people's reviews and some books that I would never even think of to read that you might, and you can see what I'm reading. It can just be a lot of fun. So that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I actually ended up reading more Christmas books than I thought I would. I only read 1 book that wasn't a Christmas book. Anyway, I have been talking a lot. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video. And I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas. I don't know when this is being posted, so Merry Christmas and see you tomorrow.